lives as we choose and, create businesses and really be able to have avenues to create and live out our dreams and our goals and, all the things that are dear to life and to family and to friends. And so it's an honor to be on the phone with all of you this evening. I'll start by just telling those of you who may be joining us for the first time a little bit about our company, and that we have been actually gathering together like this every Monday night for over 25 years. And so, again, as I said, a pleasure and a blessing to be here with all of you. I've had the pleasure of being with the Juice Plus Company now for almost 29 years now. And that in itself is still just a fascination to me because I never expected to grow up and this be my career. My background was not marketing, it was education. I taught at one of the universities in South Louisiana, which is where I'm from. Before that, I taught kindergarten. I'm a mom with a couple of grown adult children now and a grandbaby, and yet the blessing of this business has been one that I never dreamed would be possible. And so I feel especially lucky that this is my life. The company itself, though, is 45 years old, going on 46 now, almost 46 years old. And we entered the marketplace so many years ago with a product that I'm sure you're all familiar with today. We were the company that invented smoke detectors for the home, and obviously that was a great success. Diversifying over the years, we went into the field of environment with water filtration and air filtration. Again, great things to bring good health to people, safety, good health. If you look at the focus of our company, it's always been people-oriented for the good of others. 24 years ago, we entered the field of health technology with Juice Plus and the Juice Plus family of products, and what a great find that has been, not only for our own health and well-being and the people that we love, but those that we come across on a daily basis. And if I look at, again, as we say, the good fortune of our company and this team has, as I said, been meeting like this for many years, but also has been one that from the very beginning began to grow and stretch out across the world. And today as an organization, we do well over $4 million worth of Juice Plus sales every month worldwide. It could be greater than that at this point because I haven't checked it in a while, but we're well over that at this point. And so obviously this is something that has been growing over all that time, and it's because everyone on this line is not only committed to their own excellence and their own growth, but to the good well-being of others through our product line as well as our business. And so every Monday night, I'm the person that gets to welcome you to this call and have the pleasure of hearing your voices once a week. And tonight, I have the pleasure of speaking with you. And so I'm not only your host and the person to welcome, I'm your speaker tonight. And as I said, the background was not marketing, it was education. But I found myself in a situation 28 years ago where I was suddenly a single parent and very challenged as far as just fear in relation to income and how I would create a living for my two children. It was a very difficult economic time in Louisiana, and really a teacher's salary was not going to send two children to college or provide us a life with anything that was above strife or a struggle. And so this was meant originally to be a part-time endeavor. I was hoping that it would be something that would, help make ends meet, you might say, financially, and just fell in love with the whole thing. By the end of the first year, I had created more income than I could ever hope to create teaching. Of course, they didn't pay you that much to teach in Louisiana at the time, but still it was a much brighter future that I could see with this than I could see in the teaching profession. So I decided that, school was out and it would be my full-time income, my full-time career. And certainly it began a journey which was not only exciting and profitable, but one that has brought great happiness. The person, as many of you know, that was my sponsor and is, of course, still today is Jeff Roberti. And he was very success-oriented. He's certainly in stretching and reaching for his own excellence, his own growth in the world, I guess you would say, really opened doors for me that I don't think would have ever been available had he not come along. So I have a great deal of love and respect, not only from a friendship standpoint, but that somebody cared enough about, their own future to include me in that, and that it got to be my future as well. So tonight I thought I would talk about some of the things that over the years I've found to be foundational from a business standpoint, that really make the difference, or I feel like has made the difference for me, for those that I have learned from and hopefully shared with, and that has created an organization that produces at the level that this organization produces at, and that's available as we all grow. We grow together, but there's no limit to what you can create as far as the size of your team, your organization, I guess you would say, your gifts to the world as far as the product itself and the business for others to choose to follow if it's something that they want to do for themselves. So if we talk about what I would consider baseline as far as really creating a business of power and strength, it would be to understand the word momentum and how momentum works in your business, and the realization that you have total control over your own momentum and that of your team and your organization. Now, I have to say I didn't start with any of this knowledge, and I can remember, that first year and a half, we did really well. The business was steady, it grew. It was challenging, but it was fun, it was rewarding. And about a year and a half into this, Jeff Roberti looked at me and he says, "You know why your business has been so successful?" He said, "It's because you've never put your momentum down." And I said, "Well, you better tell me what that is, because I don't want to put it down by accident." And so, we really begin to look at and understand what creates momentum. And, all of us can look at other things, businesses or activities, and you can identify, whether momentum is there or not. If you think about you being involved in an exercise program, if you're consistent with that exercise program will take on a momentum or a rhythm which will give you the results that you're hoping for in the program itself, whether it's strength building, bodybuilding. You look at various things that out in the marketplace that have momentum, and if you look closely, it's usually because of a consistent rhythmic activity that's been going on long enough to create that momentum. So let's really look at the word momentum. What does it mean? How do you develop momentum? How do you sustain it? Can you advance it? For all of us, we look around and we see other distributors, and we hear of some that just, seem to skyrocket overnight, and their business seems easy and effortless. And then there are others that, it seems slow and a struggle. And you have to wonder, because we all have the same product, we all have the same marketing model, we all, are approaching the same marketplace. The only difference between these two scenarios is momentum. If you have momentum and you can learn to establish it and create it, it tends to take on a life of its own and carry you through the marketplace in a very effective way. And it's important to understand that momentum is a skill, and anyone can develop a skill. So if you can dissect it and look at it and then say, what activities, what, things have to happen for me to develop this skill, it can certainly be something that you can dictate and control. And I'm one of those people, I don't mind working hard if I get results. And to get results, I have to know what to do in that effort to make the results happen. So if the effort is explained and understood, then it really lays a great path for people to follow. Now, if you were to go to Webster's Dictionary and you were to look up the word momentum or the definition, or you were to ask Siri on your phone, okay, you would probably hear this or see this. that momentum is a strength or force gained by motion. And motion, of course, is activity. So motion or activity has to happen before momentum can be established. So you're thinking from the very beginning, and what you want to be sharing with your new team is that activity has to be in place for momentum to be created. Momentum continues, it grows and continues through consistent discipline activity. So there are words in that one statement which are just hugely important: consistent, disciplined, and activity. Consistent, disciplined activity. When you first become a distributor, you have zero momentum. We all start in the same place. But from that day forward, you're either going to add to your momentum or you're going to take away from your momentum. So understanding that and being able to establish momentum is foundational to your business. The first step to establishing your momentum, of course, is a commitment to activity. Now, the commitment is a commitment you make to yourself. It's not a commitment to your upline, the company, or anyone else. It's the standard that you hold yourself accountable for, the standard of activity you hold yourself accountable for. So this is your chosen strategy. And one of the things I've learned over the years is you want to lean into your strengths. What do you love? What attracted you? You know, what attracts you to the business? What part of it feels good? What do you like about it? Lean into that strength, because strengths will always carry and everything else will catch up. The next ingredient to establishing momentum is the consistency, of course, of that chosen activity. Activity refers to doing the basics that result in financial return. So if you were going to evaluate your activity, the question to ask for that activity, for each activity, is this activity making me money now? Is it resulting in a product sale? Is it resulting in a new distributor acquisition? Jeff actually had me put a note that I taped to the wall of my desk that said, is this activity making me money now? So you want to concentrate on what we refer to as paying activities. Examples, of course, would be any form of sharing or exposure to your product or your business. So anything that comes within that realm that's going to get a response, that's going to bring activity that creates a customer or a new team member with customers, is activity that you want to design and that you want to step into and that you want to do on a consistent basis. It might be, and it's all based in the story, it might be you telling your personal story or other stories of people that you have within your team or your customer base. It might be one-on-one presentation, sitting with someone at lunch. It might be talking to people as you go through your day. It may be events, small events to large events. This is an event. Our Monday night call for 25 years is an event. You know, so it's really utilizing all those things that create exposure. Wellness presentations, events of all types, conference calls, that basic activity that creates exposure, that creates interest, that then brings to the conclusion a customer or a new team member with customers. So you master the basics through repetitive, consistent, and disciplined effort. You can be in control of your efforts, and you can discipline your efforts. And you think about it, you know, anything that you really get good at. We think about driving an automobile. When you first started, you had to think about when you were going to step on the brake, the gas, you know, put the blinker on, you know, all of the things. But then as time goes on, it becomes intrinsic. It becomes second nature to you. It becomes a rhythm of exactly how that function is created through a series of activities. And this is no different. You design those activities that feel good, return, and pay, and then you do them consistently over and over and over until it becomes such an intrinsic part that the rhythm is a natural thing that happens to you on a daily basis. It becomes part of you. Really, the only way to become proficient is to practice the skills every day. The more you practice, the more proficient you become. And it's in this repetitive practice to develop skills that momentum comes to life. So the day will come when it takes on, its own life, so energy. There'll be people in your organization will grow to the point where there'll be people you really don't even know that are creating activity that you begin to hear about. And it's because that you have been the model, you have created the model, you have lived the model, you've had people watch you do it over and over until they're repeating it in the same way. It's important also to realize it's not how many people respond to your story or come to your presentation or how many people you recruit in a week. It's the consistency of doing that activity daily, weekly, monthly that you've committed to. The more activity you commit to, the more exposure you create, the more proficient you will become, and you will achieve, again, what we call liftoff. It takes on a life of its own, and the result will be customers and distributors with customers, and you will have established a momentum. So it is an energy force that you set into motion and that you really can create yourself. Developing personal discipline to committed, proven activities is one of the most important aspects of a successful business. Without discipline, it's easy to let things slide. Without discipline, it's easy to talk to one person a day or every other day instead of 3 to 5 a day. Without discipline, it's easy to take the day off instead of really concentrating on the consistent activity. Without discipline, it's easy to let a unique opportunity slip away. So it's at what level do you employ yourself, really? You design it yourself. You choose the activities that pay. You form the consistency. And so it's really at what level do you employ yourself, and that's how you're going to be paid. Contrary to what many people think, success in this business is not about creating volume. We're certainly tracking the volume. We're watching it. We're, working at wanting it to grow. Success in our business, though, is really about creating momentum. Increased volume is merely the result of momentum. What causes your volume to increase, what causes your retail customer base to expand, what causes your organization to grow is the momentum you create as a result of the consistent daily execution of that strategy you've put in place, the strategy and tactics that you're going to use. Now, today, technology certainly has, stretched this out for us in a way that we can reach so many more people so much more quickly. We can see them across the world through Zoom calls. We can, really interact with larger numbers much faster. But if I think about my business 28 years ago and I think about it today, it's what does my weekly plan look like of activities that I'm going to engage in? What does the monthly plan look like? What does it look like from convention to convention? It's just a matter of breaking it down to who are you going to see, where are you going to go, what are you going to say, and doing that activity on a consistent basis through whatever form of technology or personal interaction you choose to use on a daily basis. So every time you make a presentation, you're adding to your momentum, regardless of the outcome. Every time you talk to somebody about your product line, you're adding to your momentum, regardless of whether they buy your product or not. Every training class you attend, every step you take toward developing new skills, every effort you make to overcome a negative habit or characteristic, every time you drive yourself out the door, stay up a little bit later, get up a little bit earlier, all of these things are adding to your momentum. So this really takes away any feelings, I think, of rejection. Once you realize that it has nothing to do with the response people have, it only has to do with that consistent activity, then it really frees you to continue to do that in just a massive way and on a very high level. And, of course, the opposite is true, too. Every time you decide not to attend a class or an event or things that are happening, every time you give yourself license to leave early or arrive late, every time you let a disappointment get the better of you or fear of failure overcome you, your momentum would then go into decline. So if you do enough of the right things the right way with the right attitude on a consistent daily basis, your success is automatic and guaranteed. Whether your volume increases this month doesn't matter. What matters is whether your momentum increases this month. If your momentum continues to increase, your volume and your income will increase accordingly. So let's go over and really pinpoint this. Again, to establish momentum, you must practice new skills. To sustain momentum, you must apply those skills consistently by developing a daily method of operation. So now you're going to take it, your conference to conference, month to month, week to week, and then what does that daily method of operation look like? We hear it referred to as the DMO, your personally designed system of daily activities, which when consistently followed will lead to amazing results. The magic is in following the plan consistently. The magic is repeating the basics day in and day out without fail, living up to the commitment to yourself. Remember, the commitment is to you, respecting and holding yourself in high regard so that you live up to the plan that you have created. To sustain your momentum, you must sustain your effort, mastering the fundamentals in the beginning. But to make exceptional progress, you must apply those fundamentals consistently. So we've talked about establishing and sustaining personal momentum. Let's talk about the advantage of momentum that's already in place for all of us. Certainly the organization itself. If you look at this team, in our organization, you have a momentum in place that's already an infrastructure for you. Certainly you can say to anyone, even if it's your first day, my team does over $4 million a month in Juice Plus sales. That's your team. So that's your story. That's part of your identity. If we look at the momentum of this Monday night call, it's been here and seems like forever, and I plan for it to go on forever. But it creates a momentum of its own because it's a resource. We have certainly our conference calls, as I mentioned, events, our Q School coming up. This will be our 16th year, so there is a momentum to that you get to access. All of the things that you can access, momentum that's in place for you already, the success stories of others within this team and within other teams throughout the company. That's definitely part of your momentum. Certainly the company's momentum. This year we'll cross the $1 billion mark as far as company and sales worldwide. It's an amazing thing because it continues to grow with millions of customers. That has a momentum that's been put in place over 24 years now. The first day you start with that history, and everybody that you invite to join you, to partner in your business, that momentum is already in place for them as well. If we look at media momentum, media certainly for years now, in every direction, fruits and vegetables and berries, our product is one that everybody wakes up in the morning knowing that they need more fruits, vegetables, and berries. They need for their diet to be cleaner. There is, insecurity about food today and how food gets to people and what happens to it before it gets to people. So, we certainly have media momentum there. We also have media momentum when it comes to the economic state of our country, our world, and people wanting to really, as we've heard often, own their own lives, be able to pursue their own dreams, step out of financial fear and financial strife. So there's already talk of all these things, and we provide solutions. So let's talk about advancing momentum. We've already established and sustained it. As far as the conversation so far, you've got a clear idea of how to do that. But one of the most exciting news that I can tell you about momentum is once you get it going and are true to your personal commitment of discipline and your business on a daily basis, you won't have to worry about advancing it. It will happen automatically. If you're consistent with your efforts, if you have been that model from the very beginning, and this is in motion and you have liftoff, then it only continues to grow. It takes time and effort to get any worthwhile enterprise underway. But once you have your business to the point that really achieves liftoff, really nothing can stop it at that point. Unless you pull back and deviate from your consistent strategy and tactics, your business will continue to escalate and grow. Your volume will continue to grow. If you are the model of disciplined, consistent, proven activity, your distributors will emulate this, and you will have created and sustained momentum. And it becomes what we hear people refer to as a magical time. So I think that the best news here, if we talk about, a conversation of this type, is that momentum created, sustained by consistent discipline, activity, and effort, your momentum is totally in your hands, because who is in control of your effort? You are in control of the strategy that you choose. You are in control of the effort of activity that you implement. You are the person who can dictate your future and write your check by consistent, repetitive activity that brings consistent financial results. So you become that force of motion, that force of motion in activity, and that brings your business to a state of momentum that creates liftoff and that you are totally in control of. So if I go a little further and talk about a few other things that I feel like have really made the difference. Once you understand momentum, you understand that you can, really design your strategy, your activity, you're in control of it. You can either stretch it out over time or you can condense time and it will happen faster. Once you realize you have that power, if you want to call it that, you have that knowledge, you have that ability, that you're going to be the one who dictates the future. Then just a few other things that I think are very important and underlying as far as success is concerned. One is the ability to really focus, and focus is power. Something that I read in relation to focus as far as the acronym, follow one course until successful. So it's really being able to focus on that strategy, on that activity, being able to really give it full attention. The best gift you can ever give yourself is the power of focus. If you can give total, undivided attention to the person or task at hand, it will not only simplify the manner in which your business comes about, but it'll be very powerful in leading and being the model for others. People who can focus access their abilities at the highest level. I really don't believe there's any such thing as multitasking and being effective. We all multitask from time to time because there's a lot going on in life, but if you can really develop that skill where you can shut out everything else and focus on the task at hand, it'll serve you very, very well. Another point would be people buy from people they like and trust. Always live up to your word. Whatever you say you're going to do, do it. Your word is your most valuable asset, and I think it's something that is treasured today. It can be rare in society in general, and so it's admired, it's respected, it's treasured, and people follow it. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to show up, show up. But design a system where you can live up to whatever you're sharing with people. And be fully present in all interaction. Really listen to people. Listen not only with your mind, but with your heart. I think this is something that is so missing in society today, is that people move at such a pace that if someone listens and there's enough communication that that person feels that they're understood and that they're cared about, then it creates a bond of trust and interaction where you have a beautiful result, whether it's a customer that's going to look to you for, future success with their product, or it's a distributor that's looking to you for future success in helping them financially secure their lives. I think it's really important to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's pretty common, really. If you want to be respected, respect others. If you, want people to, you really treat people in the way you want them to respond in kind. And we all know that, but I think sometimes it's just good to remind ourselves, because we get busy, we get tired, we get in traffic, all of those kinds of things. And just little small kindnesses, little, bits of generosity at times when it doesn't have to happen. And it doesn't take much, but just a little really endears people to you. I think we all have basic business philosophies, whether we've identified them or not, and it's something I would encourage you to do is, look at what is your basic business philosophy. How do you see yourself in relation to others, in relation to your business? For myself, it's in all interaction, keep other people's best interests at heart. And I truly think if you listen, if you do keep other people's best interests at heart, and what I love about this organization is you see that everywhere within this whole team, is that people are very caring for others. But if you do this, you don't have to worry about the income. It grows. The money follows you home. Money then it's not the focus, but it becomes the result, because people are interacting in a different way than they do normally as far as the work world is concerned. And, again, we started this call with it wishing everyone a happy 4th of July, and how lucky we are for all the things, all the blessings, for our own independence, for our freedoms, for the ability to pursue life at the highest level and make the choices for ourselves that we feel would be best for the people that we love and those around us. But I think as we close this call tonight, some of the things that I'd like to point out is that if our country, our health, our economic status, our world, Americans have always had the ingenuity to change, create positive change in the world. And I think that, our business is not just a profession, it's a calling. And our country, as well as our world, certainly needs an answer to health issues. And Juice Plus will play a major role in this need. So it's not just a business. It's a moral responsibility. And you only have to look to the media to know this country, as well as many other parts of the world, really need job opportunity. And this is certainly where we excel for all of us, in what we do. We are the face of the future. Small business, free enterprise is the stability of economic success. And we're the best of small business enterprise. And over time, we're the type of company that is not only the best at free enterprise, but over time commands big business return. I think, to me, this is one of the things that's least understood or seen as far as people viewing our profession, is the power to create massive return with consistent effort, that there's greater opportunity to do that in this marketing model and this business format than anything that I would know to compare to it. So let's all decide to be the change that enables people to walk away from financial stress and fear. Let's embody such pride in the industry we represent that others will recognize our business for the promise and security it provides. And let's all acquire the courage to offer our product and our business to others relentlessly for the good of all. because in securing your own financial future, you automatically secure others, and our business certainly can't be done alone. So tonight, wishing you a very happy and prosperous future, a happy 4th of July as we celebrate this Independence Day, and as we go into these elections, that we all pray for our country and for the best outcome. So it's my pleasure to be on the line with all of you. It's a joy to work with each and every one of you, and I feel blessed by it every day. So good night, folks.